Hey man, let's have a talk as I walk along this park. Topic of discussion for today, also need to be aware of where I'm going, is talking back to your parents. Now personally for me, I don't find talking to your parents to be deemed disrespectful. I also do apologize. I won't be making eye contact with you because I need to keep my eyes on the road. Guys, it's like 5:40 in the morning. Bear with me, man. Come on. Empathize with me, man. We're a one-man team here, man. Anyway, I don't think it's I don't think it's a bad thing to argue with your parents. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say argue, but talking back in terms of them calling you out. Well, naturally, yes, when you live, someone's gonna call you out at some point. Whether that person be younger than you, or whether that person be older than you, someone's gonna call you out at some point for the shit you've done. And I'm sure, hey, the same will probably happen when you're adult. It's just human nature. We all make errors. Yes, okay, cool. But someone, yeah, like I said, someone's gonna call you out on your bullshit, or what they deem to be bullshit. And obviously, there will be times where you may have opinions that oppose theirs. Hence the whole debate happening, argument, if you will, that will happen. In a parental context, with father and son, or mother and son, or father and daughter, or vice versa, you get the gist. Some form of verbal feud will happen. But you don't disagree with each other. You try to draw yourself both to forming the same opinion, right? And what's commonly done when you're a child, I believe the parents use their ego and just the fact of them being older and essentially taking advantage from the child's lack of knowledge at a young age to, how do I say this? Get away with it, to convince the child that what they're doing is, they're just talking rubbish. And maybe even if they did have a justified point, them just simply being parents and older than them, their decades of experience, what are children going to do naturally? Obviously, they're going to believe it. So what they do, parents, they'll manipulate the children to think that what they're saying is bullshit. And then they get submissive, they stop talking. Even if the parent is wrong, and in this context, unfortunately, it doesn't matter whether they're right or if they're wrong. It's merely the sense of silencing the kid, and then them not giving them the opportunity to speak their truth, to speak their mind. That's very damaging in my opinion, especially in the formative years, the young years, the development years. It's damaging, man, because it kind of strips them of the ability and confidence to speak their truth. It strips them of the ability and confidence to speak their truth. It gives them that faithful mindset. It's very important how you treat a child, especially from 0 to 7. That's when they mature the most, and their moral foundation and just how they see the world is set. And in this context, parents just dismissing what their child has to say, or maybe shutting them up, or even something like yelling will shut them up. Unfortunately, in that context, it will scare them away and make them not want to speak. Doing that as a parent, I believe, to be so damaging, because it makes them scared to speak in the future. And if this goes way more deeper, maybe it's just a culture thing, I don't know. But I live in London City. I'm from England, the country, British descent, raised, went to a British school, good at this stuff, And even in school, they'll time you out if they consider you to be somewhat naughty. In this context, they'll consider you naughty for speaking your truth, which I never understood. My high school, you would have these things called behaviour points. Later, the name changed on to corrections, and corrections is basically a school system to where it tracks your misbehaviour. In this context, I say misbehaviour, simply for talking back. And even if your point was just, they can use their authority of being older than you and just positioned in a higher position by the law, in the context of home, parent and child, and in the context of school, teacher and student, to get the better of you. Even if they're perhaps wrong, they can get away with it because of age and law. They abuse it, take advantage of it, and yeah, the children are in a good position. They fucked them up, which is very sad. It's almost like the truth in certain contexts have been just dismissed, really, and the adults' opinions more highly favoured, whether they're right or wrong. As somebody who has gone to school, I've seen this all the time, especially during elementary school. Whether the teacher did something bad or not, the teacher always naturally just backs the teacher, or the other teacher. And in terms of growing up, it's not good because your brain will be so used to, your brain's going to be so used to, how do I say this? Just, there's some the other way. I'm not familiar with a familiar brother that I might know, but I want to try and come with this time for this video. So I'm just going to roam around the place and whatnot. But nah, where was I? They may know, but they won't be aware. They won't be aware. Because when you grow up and you're in your teenage years now, someone calls you out on your bullshit, you disagree with them, they're going to think, bro, they're just, from all of that conditioning, they're not going to have that confidence to speak up anymore. Because from their childhood years, they were just so used to, being the submissive one, being silent, just obeying, and being stripped of the idea of just speaking what's truth, whether it be right or wrong, just overall expressing themselves. If they're stripped of that, that's damaging. So damaging, especially when they grow up. And I remember when I was in high school, this one time, not high school, this must have been like primary school or whatnot, playing this game called King Ball. I forgot the reason why, the situation I'm about to explain to you. But long story short, I got, let's say, bullied in a way, insulted by, I think it was like 2 or 3 people, right? And the teacher was like, Gordon, why didn't you tell? Why didn't you tell me what happened? That they did that to you. And looking back now, pardon me, of what I said at the time made me really angry. And not necessarily from what I said, although that does play elements of the anger that still somewhat strikes within me to this day, but more so how the friends reacted. Well, not friends, but more so the people who, you could say, bullied in this context. And because my response at that time was simply, oh, I do not want to be a snitch, right? Hold on, we might have to put it too damn dark. Can't see shit there. Hey. So yeah, I said I don't want to be a snitch. Tell me why those people started laughing. They started laughing. The same people that were bullying me, they were laughing at me even more. So then I'm thinking back now, I'm looking back, that was probably like 10 years ago. I was pissed. I'm like, bro, I probably should have snitched. A lot of people like to see snitching as a bad thing. But if you look in the dictionary, the definition of a snitch is just someone who reprimands someone, tells them off for the bad that they're doing. And I don't see the issue of, condemning evil and correcting it. In this context, yeah, I was bullied. It was nice. I should have just told. Who cares if you're a snitch? Because even if you did so-called snitch, which, yes, in this context, was the right thing to do, right? I hope you guys can see my face throughout the video, because usually my phone is here. But yeah, even if I was so-called did snitch, and it was the right thing to do in this context, they still would have hated you anyway, and you would have gotten your words out, you would have spoken the truth, spoken what's in your heart. And they would have been told off for it, as they should have. But I wanted to appear cool. It probably just made me more of a bitch from their perspective. And it's not even about how they view you. It's more so for your inner peace. I should have told off them guys, man. I shouldn't have let them walk over me like that, because it's messed up. And it goes back to the point of why it's important to express yourself. And this is something I believe parents need to improve on more. I think most parents just have this ego. I don't know what it's called. I think it's just older ego. That's even a new name. I put myself older age ego, just simply being older, parental ego. I don't know, but they're too quick to dismiss what the child says, and they immediately, automatically view talking back as a, a sin or uh, a, a child crime to the parents or disrespectful. It's not. And when I'm a father, I'm gonna say to my child, bro, I'm not even gonna get mad if they talk back. It's human nature to talk back and communicate. So long as you're not, swearing at your parents or doing no verbal abuse or nothing like that, speak your truth, man. Hey, just because I'm older than you doesn't mean I'm always right. I'm not perfect. There's gonna be times I mess up too. Correct me. Gotta keep us all accountable. It's not just a lot of you, especially parents. They just think it's I'm the parent. Let me keep my child accountable. Humble yourself too, parents. Because yes, as mature as you are, and maybe arguably dominate every aspect of life simply through having decades of more time, experience in your hand, you still have a lot to learn too. And you'll never be a perfect parent. That's not an answer because no one, but I definitely will. So we can learn. Learn from the child, man. The child is going to teach you a lot of stuff that you never knew. And that's real talk. You want to drop that ego, man. Drop the ego. Parents need to stop believing and thinking and having this conditioned narrative that talking back is bad. Hey, it may have been due to your childhood trauma, and you just like inflicting it back on to others. So yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, but take responsibility as well. Don't pass it on your children. Grow from it, like I'm doing. Most coaches, probably your parents and yourself, mine also, they'll probably talk back to you because it's right and it's human nature to speak back, speak your beliefs and speak your truths. But then they'll beat them up for it. They'll probably spank them or get the slipper or whip them with a belt. So it dismissed them, made them feel submissive in a way, unheard. And then they created that story in their head, that foundation probably in their formative years that, hey, I speak up, I get whipped, so it's bad, I shouldn't speak up. And that's probably why you become prone to getting bullied. At least I'm talking through my experience. You get bullied because you're not scared to speak up. You're the quiet kid, you want to speak up, but these childhood experiences, you don't. I'm not like that anymore, but when I was a child, and it wasn't nice. So it's a very easy target to be picked up. So that's not a nice thing, Yeah, I'm just gonna end off by saying this: parents need to drop their ego, to realize it's okay for criticisms, especially at even an age considered adult. And it's not ego-centered. It's not. It shouldn't shatter your identity. You shouldn't feel worse of a person just because someone younger is lecturing you. It's cool, bro. It's cool. It's a big world out here, man. Especially when you're in the adult world, which you should have known already. It's a big world out here. Different ages, different industries, different experiences in a particular field. Anyone can educate you, bro. And it gets even more humbling, especially when you're older. If you're older now, you're not as strong as you used to be. Most of society being run is probably from the younger men or guys in their mid ages and whatnot. So they can humble you by default. You're back setting. Well, most old people are not going to be strong enough to pick you up. So like, you can't have no choice but to ask that strong 20-year-old over there. I'm nearly 20. I've got 5 months to go, man. Let's go. Do I? Yeah, I do. March. December. No, it's not December, right? That's October 14th. Yeah. So, yeah. You may have to ask me. And they do. They're bossing many times, many settings. And they appreciate it because I'm a strong guy. I weigh I'm not 190 pounds. Maybe average height, 5'9", 176. But I'm a strong guy. I like to believe. So, yeah. I believe that's a good lecture. And I believe many wanted to do this to him. Some of you may have felt some resistance to talking to your parents. And you were too scared. Drop that mentality. Always be willing to grow. And drop your ego. There's nothing wrong with being lectured by someone younger than you. If someone 15 years old, because there are, some instances where teenagers somehow have maturity of adults, if not even greater. I like to believe I'm one of them, 19. They're fucking folks. Sorry guys, it happened to me before. I put some little flashback of when it happened before. That's why I'm a bit paranoid. Despite it being 4 months ago. Drop the ego, man. Always be willing to learn. And it makes you a better father or mother anyway. So yeah, hear your child out, man, and be aware of the impact it has, and hopefully I can be a testament to that. And keep it pushing, G.